Good morning, afternoon, or evening, everybody across the globe. This is Move Easy Yoga Online with Thea and Kathy and the rest of you, starring all of you. And it is September 7th, Labor Day, 2020. Thank you for showing up on Labor Day. We're going to start in the ordinary fashion, just lying on your back. You have your knees bent, your legs extended, your feet up on a sofa or a chair. You have a pillow under your legs. Just finding comfort in your arrival. Please, everyone, mute themselves. Maybe I can do that. Yes, I can do that. Okay. Noticing where you are, how you got here, why you got here. Noticing the back of the floor supporting your back body. Noticing the breath you came in with. Spend a little time imagining the location of the pituitary gland, which is, there's several different ways to locate it with you. I'm going to just choose one. Think about the optical nerve coming from at the back of the eyeball sockets, coming out behind the sockets and crossing. So the optical nerves cross there, and just below that point where they cross is the pituitary gland. Spend some time imagining that spot. This is a very grounding meditation. And finish up. Bring your hands behind your head. Interlace your fingers or stack your hands. We're going to do a vagus nerve reset. It's pretty easy. You don't move anything except the eyeballs, which actually moves the optical nerve and triggers a reset of the vagus nerve. Shift your eyeballs to the right with your eyes open or closed, and wait and watch for an involuntary sigh, swallow, gulp, or yawn. Come back to center. Shift your eyeballs to the left. Wait for an involuntary sigh, swallow, yawn, or gulp. Come back to center. Repeat 2 more sets, right, left, without my cueing. Come on back. Finish up, come on back. Keep your hands in the same position. We're going to do head ramping. And you're going to press the base of your skull, the back of base of your skull, the occipital ridge, into your hands. And hold for a couple breaths. And then let it go. So the spine doesn't really move. It's not rounding, flexing, or extending. The spine gets longer and straighter. This is a weight of traction, the spine, the cervical spine, actually. Do this about 3 more times. And this straight spine, cervical spine, is the same thing where I'm asking for when you do a forward hip hinge and you're trying to line everything up. The cervical spine should feel a little bit like it does now, but you're in a different orientation. I have you do this every class because you are always, I bet you, all of you are rounding and pulling your head forward over your computers or your cell phones every day. And this helps to reverse that. Finish up. We're going to do an extended exhale breath. In this breathing pattern, you can do any breath work you know. Maybe something else you've learned here you like better, but today I'm going to cue extended exhale breath. Take an inhale, count the length of the inhale, 1, 2, 3, and then exhale and make the exhale longer than the inhale. Ideally, make it twice as long. So inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Keep going. If you want to, you can notice the pause, the space between the inhale and the exhale, and the exhale and the inhale. Just there's a little automatic, natural pause. It's not very long. Finish up. We're going to do a hypopressive, a sideline hypopressive. So extend your legs. And we're going to do 3 breaths and then hold your breath out for the count of 10. Once you stop, you start holding your breath, you're going to roll to the right, I guess, first, and then the left the second time. And this is, you do your best. The hardest part will be to roll onto your side and then continue the 10 counts. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Complete exhale. Hold your breath out, no breath. Roll onto your side. 1, 2, no breath. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale and come on back to your back, supine. And exhale. 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last breath. Inhale. Exhale. Hold your breath out. Roll to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale and exhale. Come on back. Come on back. We are going to start with leg stretch 1 and 2. So we're going to go into the Sidelying series in a minute. But leg stretch 1 and 2 with a strap, and then therapy balls at the quadratus lumborum. So find your strap, lie on your back. You may want to put a stack of washcloths under your head. The idea is to keep your cervical spine in neutral. And put the strap over your foot. The right foot goes up towards the ceiling. One strap in one hand, one strap in the other. Your hands are straight. We are going to time this because it's a bone building. It's a bone building pose. 30 seconds. And just stay here. Try to keep your pelvis, your tailbone, everything, the hips on the floor. And then you're kind of tugging. This is also a hamstring stretch, a nice one. And come on out of that. Hold on to both straps with the right hand and drop your right leg out to the side. Remembering to keep the other leg, you can even use your other hand, your left hand, to hold down your ASIS on the left side. So if you can't come this far, that's okay. Because the trick here is not to use your other hip, not to bring it up to make this one come down. Come on back. Switch sides, left leg in a strap. And go ahead and start to breathe and count. I will do the counting. Well, my timer will do the counting. This is a release for the hips and bone building also. At the hip socket. Go ahead and put your both straps in your left hand and bring your left leg out to the side. Remember to try to keep the right hip on the floor. So the hips are even, the leg is just rotating. The head of the femur is rotating out. Be careful if you have a hip replacement. Be careful of this. Make it smaller, slower, with more awareness. How far can I comfortably go? Come on, Mac. Get one therapy ball. Small, probably, although if you have large, you can try that too. We're going to just do work on the QL. Going to lay on your back, and you're going to put the QL therapy ball at the waist. There is a muscle that is between your pelvis and your rib cage along the spine, and you can all find it if you just press in at your waist. You're going to put the ball there. Can you do it on this side, Kathy, so we can see it? Okay, at the waist. There. Now, extend your leg. Bend your knee all the way up. You can hug your knee to your chest. Right knee, chest. Right knee to the chest. And now drop it out to the right. This is going to be a little pattern. Drop it out. Extend your leg. Drop it out and then bring it back and extend your leg. Now extend your leg. Now hug your knee. So you do a knee hug and a knee drop. And come on up. And if this hurts a lot, some people might have a lot of tension here, which actually indicates your lower back issue, a lower back issue. Then you may want to do it smaller, slower, not move as much, or use a sponge ball instead of the little grippy therapy ball. So you hug your knee and then you do a knee drop. And do one more. And switch sides. So let me say that the QL is a muscle that is often neglected, and it's often has issues. It's very tight and strained or injured, and it can be an indication of, or it can actually transfer to lower back, or it can be an indication of lower back issue. And this work will start to release the fascia. It doesn't change the underlying issue, whether, if you need to strengthen your core or you need to strengthen the muscles along your spine. Obviously, this does not do that, although it may help you to move the next time you want to move. If we do a side bend, it might help you do your side bend. And just finish up. And then we'll come to a side lying position, and we'll do the side lying series. I think I'm going to try to do it with you. Let's see how that works. You're going to want to put something under your head. Some people like to put a sponge ball. Some people like to put a brick, but you need something so that you can stack your shoulders. It would be a combination, actually. So I'm going to ask you guys to tell me, because this is my series that I keep thinking that you guys are going to memorize and know that you could do it, at any time, basically. Well, you have to have space for it. But other than that, you could do it anytime because you know it. This whole series, there's 3 triplets. The first 2 triplets are on the shoulders, and the last triplet is at the hips. So what's the first one? First is scapula protraction, retraction. Just move the scapula away from the spine and then move it back. toward the spine. So protraction, retraction. The arm moves because the scapula moves. So think of this as a movement of the scapula. And do it 3 more times. Straight out, comes back. What's next? Arm straight up to the ceiling, and then come back. So come back to parallel. This is a lateral abduction, adduction of the arm. Do these movements slowly. And try to think of what's happening on the inside. This is the movement at the arm bone. And do 2 more moves. So scapular protraction, retraction, lateral arm, abduction, adduction. And the next one is internal, external rotation at the arm bone. So I like to put my bottom hand finger at the bone just to feel it. And the idea is to move the arm bone forward in the socket as far as you can go, and then backward behind you as far as you can go. And the trick is not to be moving at the hand, wrist, or elbow. You can make a fist and help you keep your wrist out of the picture. Slowly, internally and externally rotating. Couple more. And go ahead and finish up, and then bring your arm by your hip alongside your hip. You can shake, wiggle, rock and roll if you want, tween. When you finish that triplet, the second triplet starts with technical snow angels. So the first thing you want to do with your arm at your hip is to rotate, externally rotate as far back as you can. The palm faces ceiling, and then your arm comes up by your ear. All the way up, as far as you can go. Here, when your arms hit your ear, as you start to go back, palm faces forward, and then come back. So it's a slightly different location of the head of the arm bone on the way back. So rotation, palm up. Palm forward, come on back. Do this 4 more times. Trying to think about what's happening in the glenohumeral joint. I think we've got 1 more here after this one. I may be off, but not by far. Bring your arm back to the hip and then start arm circles. This is the third of this triplet. Arm goes behind you, over your head and in front of you, back by the hip. Oh, I feel so lucky I'm down here doing these with you. Two more circles this direction. Reverse your circle. Two more circles in this direction. The last triplet in this series is called a flying pizza. Your arm is up, bent elbow. The elbow is tucked in and stays tucked in at the waist. And then the arm comes back and the wrist turns so that by the time your arm is back, all the way up to the ceiling, the palm is facing the ear. Come on back. So each movement, the wrist moves, palm facing down, palm facing the ear. If you want to, you can take your bottom hand and put it on your shoulder and try to push your shoulder down. We do that when we do this standing. I don't know how much pushing we can get while you're side lying. But you should be feeling this in the back of the shoulder, the scapula. One more. And stop. Extend your top leg. And droop your foot. And just lift and lower. And if you start to, this is an abduction, adduction, so working the inner and outer thigh. If you start to feel it in the groin, you've added a dimension, and it's called compensation. Is that what it's called? Anyway, yes, compensation. You've used your hip flexor in the movement, and that is not a good idea. Do a couple more. Lift and lower. Think of what's happening in the acetabulum, the hip socket. And then go ahead and come forward. So flexion now, flexion extension of the leg, the top leg. When you come forward, dorsiflex, so the toes come toward the shin. When you come back, the toes go away from the shin. And if you want to, you can even add, when you go back, a glute squeeze. So pause, squeeze your glute. And so you're doing flexion extension at the hip, at the head of the femur, but you're also doing footwork and glute work. Just two more. And one more. Come on back, bend your knees, bring your knees a little closer to your face, stack your ankles. So now we're going to do clams, just opening and closing the top knee. Keep the ankles and feet together. And this is also an abduction and adduction, inner thigh, outer thigh movement. And you can add a little bit of more glute work by putting your hand on top and creating a resistance, Kihara resistance, pressing the knee up into the hand that's resisting the movement of the knee. So sometimes the knee is winning, sometimes the hand is winning, but both of those points are always resisting the movement of the other. So Kihara, stretch is always moving, always resisting. You should feel this big time in your glutes. After a while. And let's stop there and switch to the other side. Starting, I'm not very good at letting you guys tell me what you're doing next, but I don't know how to do that actually with everybody muted but Kathy. So maybe that's not such a great idea. But this is, hopefully you are getting very, very familiar with these. I keep reading them at least about every month or so I do. So protraction, retraction of the scapula. Forward, but it's the scapula that's coming away from the spine and forward, and then the arm follows. And that's called protraction. And then the other opposite movement is called retraction. And you're retracting the scapula and bringing it closer to the spine. And just keep going slowly, just being aware of what's happening in your scapula, really. Well, you can notice what happens with the arm, too. One more. And the next movement is called sunrise sunset. It's one of the things you call it. It's probably easier than what I call it, which is more anatomically correct. Lateral abduction, adduction. You don't have to know any of the names to have these ones, so don't worry. Just opening up and closing. Check your stack. Are your shoulders stacked, your knees stacked, your ankles stacked? One more. Keep your arm up this time, actually. And I like to put my hand in front of the arm. And then the third of the triplet here is an internal and then an external rotation. And make this all happen at the glenohumeral joint. So it's not happening at the wrist or the elbow. You can make a fist with your hand. It helps keep the wrist out of the picture. Slowly reminding your body that this is the most efficient way to use. This is what the shoulder is supposed to be doing. So when you're on your computer, if you find you're only using your wrists, you're actually going to eventually be in trouble. So this is, do one more set. Bring your hand by your hips, starting the second triplets. The first one is the angel, technical snow angels. The palm is up, and the palm faces in, come back. Two more. Last one. Start shoulder circles, bringing your arm behind you. Keep the shoulders stacked, so you're not going to bring your shoulder back behind you to make this a bigger circle. Keep the shoulders stacked. Your arm loves this. You should almost feel the cells in your body thanking you for this one. Jumping up and down. 2 more in this direction. Reverse your direction. You can do these before you get out of bed, this whole series. You have to have your toys around you, but nearby. Two more. Did we switch directions?
Yes.
Okay, so now the leg series, the leg triplets. So just straight, oh no, now this one. Okay, sorry. Flying pizza. Keep your elbow tucked. Rotate your wrist. Keep going. I like to, you can put your other hand on your shoulder, see if you can hold it down a little farther. That might enhance this movement. Strengthening the muscles that hold the scapula together, the scapula to the clavicle, to the rest of the shoulder. The rotator cuff. Do 2 more. And come out of that. Straighten your leg, top leg, droop your foot, and lift and lower. I'm going to have to move in order to lift my leg. I'll bump into my Pilates equipment. Just that, up and down you go. One more. Come back, and then the leg moves forward. The toes dorsiflex towards the shin, and then backward. The toes point away from the shin. And back forward. So this is ankle and footwork as well as hip work. And if you want to add glute work, then you go back and you extend your hip, squeeze your glute, pause and squeeze your glute, and then come back. See if you can feel the pull of the core work that happens whenever we're moving the legs, whatever orientation, we're also working core. Finish up, one more. Bend your knees, bring them a little closer to your face, stack your knees and your ankles, and then clams, hip clams. This is the traditional clam. We also do shoulder clams, but that's another day. And then if you want to, you can put your hand on your knee and make this into a resistance stretch. Still doing the same work and adding work, because whenever you're doing resistance, you're both stabilizing and stretching, strengthening and creating flexibility in the very same exercise. Doesn't have to be not much. The resistance, you have to have resistance. It doesn't have to be much. One more. And come back. Just lie on your back for a minute and see how you feel from your side lying practice. And I'm going to check the time. Go ahead and whenever you're ready, come up to standing. We're going to do a back extension against the wall or door. Time for 30. Then we're going to do spine twist. Also at the wall. So standing with your back to the wall in good posture. You're going to bring your arms under while Kathy adjusts her view, our viewpoint for her, of her. You can go ahead and start this because you know it. Your arms come up and over, your palms face the wall and press away, and you open your chest. And I forgot to count, but I'm going to count now, and I'm going to, oops. Just know that more is better all the way up to 72 seconds. Then you should really pause, get out of the pose, and start again, because the bone building, the natural ability to build happens, starts 12 seconds in and ends at approximately 72 seconds. Come on out of that. Wiggle and stretch. And then we're going to do the standing. We'll come back to that. We'll do that one more time. But first we're going to do the standing spine twist. So starting with the right side, right shoulder on the wall, right leg. Hold on. Forward. Right leg forward, left back. Bend the arms and rotate the spine at the waist. Maybe a little easier with the releases we did with the therapy balls. You'll never know for sure, but staying here and breathing, facing the wall with your arms and your face and your chest, looking forward with your hips and your legs. That is what makes the spine twist. Come on back, go to the other side. Left leg is forward, the right leg's back. Bend your arms, rotate your thoracic spine, starting at the waist, using your hands on the wall to help you with that rotation. and to support it. And stay here and breathe. Come out of that, come back into the back bend at the wall. Arms up and over. Press into the wall. Open the chest. Now, Diana asked about the neck. So you want something comfortable for yourself, not back too far, not tilted too far back, and not tilted too far forward. So actually, if I were you, I would keep the cervical spine straight and actually just rock the skull over the cervical spine, just like we've done in other places. Come on back. Let's do a spine twist again. So right side first, right leg forward, back leg back. Bend the elbows and come on around, twisting, spine twisting, letting the wall and your hands help you with your spinal rotation. Reverse sides. Left leg forward, right leg back behind you. Bend your elbows, rotate. Spinal rotation. See if you can get your shoulders parallel to the wall or not, do your best. Let your arms help you do this. And come on down to the floor for the prone back extension, which is, back extensions are always good. Working on the multifidi, the little muscles along the spine. Building new bone, that's what we know now. And it works at a different angle than the wall back bend because you're lifting your spine up. It's just, it's different. They're both good. Do them both. If you have time, do them both. Lying on your belly, arms at your side, palms up. Inhale to prepare. Exhale to come on up. Lift your arms, your chest, your head. We're going to stay here for 30 seconds. And while you're here, and come out early if you need to, while you're here, go try to lift your chest a little higher. Five more seconds. And come on, inhale and come on down. Inhale, exhale, come on down. Okay, so we're going to do it again, only we're going to come up into airplane, level 2. Take an inhale to prepare and an exhale to lift your chest. And then another inhale to prepare and an exhale. Arms come out in a T. We're going to time this 30 seconds. Stay here if you can. Come back out of it if you can't. You'll build up. Kathy's doing really well nowadays, but that's because she does this all the time. And by the way, her back is getting, her upper back is amazingly different than it was a couple years ago. Well, from what I can see, she can probably tell you that too. Inhale and exhale, come on down. Bring your arms out into a T. Thoracic release, bone thoracic release. You know this one. Look to the right and lift your right leg up and over behind the opposite leg. Keep your arms, your armpits, your shoulders on the floor. We're gonna actually call this a bone building event and time it. Stay here. You can do anything you want with your legs and your hips. The place that is building bone is at the upper back. Come on out of that and look to the other direction. Look left. Left leg comes up and over and behind the opposite leg. We're going to stay here. Keep your armpits and your arms and your wrists and your shoulders on the floor. I'm really glad you guys came today, Labor Day. Come on back. Find your way onto your back for Yoga Nidra. You may want to cover yourself up. You may want to put a washcloth over your eyes. The idea is to be warm and comfortable. I'm going to guide you through 61 points of your body. You're going to follow my directions with your mind. You're not going to move anything. Starting with your breath. Breathing in and out. Observing your belly as it rises and falls with your breath. And bring your awareness to the center of your eyebrows, center of your throat, right shoulder, elbow, wrist, right thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, right wrist, elbow, shoulder, center of your throat, left shoulder, elbow, wrist, left thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, left wrist, elbow, shoulder, center of your throat, spiritual heart center, right side of your chest, heart center, left side of your chest, heart center, navel center, center of your pelvis, right hip, knee, ankle, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, right ankle, knee, hip, center of your pelvis, left hip, knee, ankle, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, left ankle, knee, hip, center of your pelvis, navel center, heart center, center of your throat, center of your eyebrows. This completes your 61-point guided yoga Nidra meditation. Start to bring your attention back to the room. Extend your legs. Bring your arms overhead. Stretch in both directions, trying to create a little bit of more space right where we were working at the QL, between the pelvis and the rib cage. Wiggle and stretch, right side, left side, fingers, toes, wrists, ankles. Hug your right knee to your chest, and then your left. Rock your knees from side to side, releasing your lower back. Roll over onto your side. Use the bottom arm as a pillow. Stay here for a couple breaths. And then whenever you're ready to come up, use your top hand pressing against the floor. Try to get no rounding of your back as you bring yourself up to a floor seated position. Unmute yourself. I'm going to cancel the spotlight for Kathy. Put myself on gallery view so I get to see all of you. I don't think I can do that for you, but you can do it for yourselves. Bring your hands to your heart. Press in a little bit just to feel the shoulders. We did some shoulder work today on the floor. Feel that, all of that work, and then release it. And soften the prayer pose. Lift the back of your skull up. Nod the skull forward. Bobble, nod. Bow, bowing to each other. Acknowledging, honoring, recognizing the light in each of us. Knowing that we are all one. We're going to close the class in gratitude by saying to each other, Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, everyone. That was a great class.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Happy
Bye.